Yeah, so Darren, you must be very pleased with the match today. I had you down for 13 goal kickers, so whatever, it was a very good spread today.
Yeah, it was. It was pretty even across the board. You know, we threw the team around a bit, and you know, I think our midfield kicked a lot of goals as well. So, yeah, it was pretty good. We don't want to rely on one or two players, so it's good to get that spread.
So, who were your best players today?
It was pretty hard to pick them today. It was, as I said, we threw the team around. I thought our midfield was good. Franklin ended up kicking 3 goals and got a fair bit of the ball. Bryce was good again. Bell Chambers was outstanding again. Thought Smith in the ruck, Anterton in the back line was good. So I think everybody chipped in and played a good role through the day.
And how did you see that matchup in the ruck with Smith and Charlie White?
Yeah, look, Charlie's a very dangerous player. He gets across the ground really well, and I thought when Smith went forward on him, Smith got quite a bit of the ball forward, so it certainly took him out, and I suppose he wasn't being able to chop everything off that we put forward. So we know that they like to try and get that spare and slingshot it out the other side. So it was good to see Smith be able to nullify him, and then I think he might have got on the end of 1 or 2 goals as well.
And there was a lot of talk throughout the week of young Matt McGuinness making his debut today. How did you see his performance? Yeah,
look, it normally takes a bit of time to adjust to senior footy. You know, there's a bit of a gap between the Mercury Cup and senior footy. So, and he's tall and he's skinny. So, I think he got about a dozen possessions for the day, and he took a couple of good marks. But I think he enjoyed it. But he'll get better and better as the time goes on. He's a really good runner as well, and so North Hobart probably didn't suit him with the amount he can run and get into space.
And you persisted with the Alex Hill forward, Ryan Wiggins back, like you started with last week. How did you see that?
Yeah, I think Hill kicked a few goals. It's a tough ground for forwards because there's no space to get into, and they dropped that spare number behind the ball quite well. So I thought Hill competed really well, got the ball to the ground and give us a target up there. Wiggins was good again. He gave us some drive. You know, he's still finding his way in the back half. I think he can be a dominant back and then a dangerous forward going up. Just people can sit off him and put a lot of work into him when he's forward, and as a young man, you probably want him to have a few different areas that he can play on the field. So he'll probably stay back for a fair chunk of the time until we need him forward again.
And so you have the Tigers at home next week. If they have Daniel Archer, would you consider putting Alex Hill back on here?
No. Well, I hope Archer plays because I think that's good for our competition. I think they. I'm not sure whether he played today or not, but I think bringing him in on the Friday, good on Tigers, because I think we should bring him in and play AFL listed players or that's been on list, and I think that's great for our competition. So to see him get a fine I thought was probably a little bit rude, but anyway, that's. Just the way it is. I hope he does because we need those sort of players in our competition.
So, Bear, tough afternoon out there. Where do you feel they got on top?
After quarter time, they were harder at the footy than us. Their foot skills have gone to another level. Since we played them last, their ball movement was really good, and they were just, to be honest, they were just too good for us all over the ground, which is really disappointing.
And who are your better players out there this afternoon?
It's a tough one. We probably didn't have too many winners. I think Matthews battled quite hard in the midfield, and I thought Big Good was pretty good down back again. But you don't have too many winners when you lose by 90 points.
Mm. And as for your finals aspirations, today's result means that you're 2 games out of the 5. Where to from here?
Yeah, it's a big dent. Obviously, I think we're only still a game behind Lonnie, so I think they're 7 and we're on 6. So. You know, we can't be thinking about finals after today. We need to worry about winning next week against Devonport, which again is going to be a hard ask on the road. You know, they've got Thorpe, Butler, Riley, Byard in the midfield as well. They're all good players, so we just need a really big effort next week to. You don't erase what's happened today, but there's another opportunity next week to start respecting the jumper and respecting the footy club we play for, because we let ourselves down today.
And Will Campbell's back from his 2-match suspension next week, so he's straight in, obviously.
Yep, straight in the midfield will be, so we're looking forward to that. It was unfortunate that he missed the last 2 weeks, and I think it's been quite frustrating for Will. on the sidelines watching. He's not a great watcher. He's had a really good year, and we look forward to having his skill and his run through the midfield next week.
And obviously it was a big day for the club with the ladies' lunch. Not great to get the result, but obviously a special occasion.
Yeah, it was. It's something that's touched the club with a few of the players. And it's nice that the club can have a function where the ladies can get upstairs and really enjoy themselves. They were getting quite loud towards the last quarter, so I think they've had a good day out there. It was just really disappointing that we couldn't put on a better effort than we did today.
And just back on Devonport, they recorded their first win of the season a couple of weeks ago against Burnie. Are you excited by their development as from an outside perspective?
Yeah, I mean, as a lot of teams in this comp, they're all very young, so you just think Thorpe's obviously doing a good job. He's got those young guys on the right track. So, they obviously didn't travel too well last week against Clarence. So they play tomorrow against North Lonnie. So they'll come off a 6-day break. So that's something they'll have to manage. But as I said before, I think their top end is really good. So we need to go up there with a really good mindset, shut those good players out of the game, and hopefully we can get the 4 points. But as I say, we're just going to have a really tough week on the track this week, and hopefully we can get some respect back next week, which we unfortunately have lost today.